Synecdoche, skinny witty, skinny mini. Schenectady, New York is the name of this movie. Yeah, exactly. It's like Popeye trying to say this. But so this is an actual place, right?
Well, it's like a slightly misspelled version of the name of an actual place, which
Schenectady?
Yeah, something like that. That I always just say, that place in upstate New York with a weird name that no one can pronounce.
Exactly.
Even people who live there is like, we're from this town.
Well, shit, harder than trying to say this name is trying to comprehend this movie. I mean, I kind of get it, but then I don't. And I'm not going to even lie. I like Charlie Kaufman.
Yeah, who previously had only written films.
Yeah.
And all of them kind of surreal films, to be sure.
Yeah.
This is his first film he directed, supposed to be with Spike Jonze, who he had made Being John Malkovich with, and Adaptation.
Yeah.
But Spike Jonze, I think something went wrong. What happened was, and this makes sense, you'll see the film in a whole different light when I tell you this. Spike Jonze says to Charlie Kaufman, let's make a horror movie together. I want you to write me a horror movie and I'll direct it. So Charlie Kaufman's take on it was, well, okay, so I started trying to think about the stuff that really scares me in my own life, the stuff that frightens me. And, well, it kind of turned into something that wasn't really a horror movie anymore, what Spike was looking for, but something that is the most frightening thing I could imagine. And he's right. It's not a horror movie like you think of, but it's certainly the most horrifying thing you could possibly picture, really. I mean, it's so banal in its horribleness. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess it's him coming to grips with loneliness, old age, frustration. Well, almost
people dying.
People dying, and also just having your own problems. Problems. So you're there. I'm still trying to say connected. Dealing with your own problems, such as being a hypochondriac, thinking you're ill all the time, making yourself sick because it's self-induced.
At least I think so.
Exactly. I'm like, what's what I'm saying? I don't understand. I mean, in the movie, Philip Seymour Hoffman. God damn, this movie he's got me well weird and crazy. Philip Seymour Hoffman he's a playwright and a stage director.
Yes.
And he gets a grant to make a great piece of genius art.
Yes.
In fact, it's called the Genius Grant.
Yes.
I've won 5 already. So he finds now this is where I don't understand where reality ends or begins if it's a dream. He goes into a warehouse and says, I'm going to do a replica of New York City within this warehouse.
Well, not New York, but the city.
The city. Yes. Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that no more. I'm staying away from that. I'm never going to that city. But he says, I'm going to build a life-size replica of this city, and it's going to be years in the making, 17 years almost to get something done. You picture
they're talking about like a small replica, like you do when you see in a theater in the round. There's a bunch of different stages. But they're rebuilding this city in a smaller scale inside of the city itself. It's impossible what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it's like skyscrapers that are stories and stories tall that people actually live in. They've got actors playing the people who are actually there because it's a play about what's going on in his own life and so on and so forth.
My head's about to explode right now.
But that's kind of what this movie's doing. But even so, even on that top level, that primary beginning level, there's weird shit going on that I don't understand. There's like the girl whose house is on fire all the time. What is that about?
See, that's it. It's a study in the surreal. I mean, obviously, none of this is reality. Obviously, this is something that's reflecting this guy's trauma, his fears, and it's almost dreamlike, but it's not laid out there like that.
Yeah.
And you go back and forth in time. Look, it's interesting. I admire the movie for this, and I think it's a well done film. I mean, it's amazing what they do with some of the set designs in this, but I think it's a little bit self-indulgent.
I mean, you can't call one kind of art self-indulgent because it doesn't provide pop art.
All right, let's cut the bullshit. Charlie Kaufman is a weird motherfucker, okay? But he's one of those guys who's lucky enough to convince people that his weirdness is worth giving millions of dollars to so he can put all his craziness up on the screen for everyone to see. And while I honestly find some of that fascinating, there are just some areas where I don't need to go that deep inside of his crazy-ass mind, especially for close to 2 hours. It's obvious that it's based on a lot of his life. He's pretty much pouring out.
Okay, you do know what art is, right? I'm just saying that's what good art is.
Do you know how many pictures are on my mom's refrigerator right now? Yes, I do. I use Crayola crowns. No, I understand. Look,
I drew dinosaurs. That happened to me.
Look at this. Look at that stick figure right there. No.
I'm well known for loving the surreal films, the puzzle films that you have to piece together, that says, I'm not going to spell this out for you. I'm trying to actually make art here. This isn't for John Q. Popcorn. This is for people who specifically like films that challenge them. And this is a challenging film, but I'm generally pretty good at piecing things like this together. And this one even had me a little bit confused. I still want to see it. I do want to see it again. I'm one of those critics who does.
You're going to go back dressed up like Sherlock Holmes.
Right. But what bothers me is that it's so depressing. I mean, I just felt like all the life had been sucked out of me at the end of it.
You thought it was depressing?
Oh, yeah. The whole thing is like about the worst life ever.
See, I guess I didn't get depressed because I was so confused watching this, and when I say maybe confused is the wrong word. I was detached because the whole thing seemed like an experiment to me. So therefore, I was not into any characters because I couldn't stick with the characters because they were changing and they were going back and forth, and I didn't know what to expect next.
We need to investigate the essence of each being.
You're weirdly close to what I visualized for this character.
Glad to be weirdly close. You smell weird.
What do I smell like?
It's like you're menstruating. I don't know.
I don't menstruate, so I don't know. I can smell like I'm menstruating.
You tell me.
But I did like some of the characters in the movie at certain points. Samantha Morton. You remember her? She was a redhead.
Yeah. Who started off so hot and then
it got dumpy quick.
Man, I was convincingly great makeup because I was like, you're like, wow, that chick totally nail her, and then you're like, wow, I wouldn't nail her with Corey's dick.
Oh, hey, man. And look, I admire the people because as they aged convincingly. I will give it that in the movie.
What's her name? The girl who looks like Samantha Morton so much, and I always get them mixed up.
Hope Davis?
No, Emily Watson.
Oh, Emily Watson, who comes in later in the movie.
I always get her mixed up with Samantha Morton, and sure enough, she in the movie is the actress playing Samantha Morton, so it's kind of funny.
See, and that's the other thing. They kept introducing new actors to me, that kind of just threw me off. I mean, some people with big names, like who was the girl in the Woody Allen movies? The woman that was always in the Woody Allen, Diane Wiest,
right? Like
she just comes up near the end of the movie almost, and so I was like,
and Ellen Burstyn.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All these people coming up out of nowhere. It's just really, I would take somebody's recommendation when they said you should really watch this when you have the time to really just soak it in again and dissect it piece by piece.
This is more of a rental in the sense that you should be watching this at home when you have the chance to watch the commentary again afterwards.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. I would suggest a rental just simply because you were able to go through and scrub through it and find out little pieces here and there. And the commentary would not be bad with this. Because I honestly thought the movie was a little bit too long too. I mean, I was really getting bored. As much as this weird stuff was going on, I was like, I really wish this would end. I mean, there's some people who will appreciate this movie. They like the different. They like the art house, and to the hilt, that's what this is. And to them, I recommend this as a matinee.
Yeah, me too.
For anybody who's not like anybody who just generally likes films, maybe like me, but they will admit that they don't get this, but would be willing to give it a chance. As we said, rental, where you can break it down. Break it down.
If you're one of those people who actively says, I don't like art films, let's put it this way. If you like Michael Bay movies, this is some old bullshit for you.
In the general sense, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not for you.
Pretty much, if you like Michael Bay films, you don't like art films. It doesn't matter what you think. The Blues Brothers is not an art film.
Well, what is art? It's all interpretive, isn't it?
Sure, but there's got to be a dividing line there somewhere.
Let me put it this way: if you wear a John Deere hat and you hate Barack Obama, you probably would not like this movie.
Yeah, if you can name the winner on every season of American Idol, you probably won't like this movie.
You're probably a redneck. So yeah, what would you rate this?
Overall, it's probably a low matinee if I take into account, not the some old bullshit people, but the people who, consider themselves hardcore film fans. If you know that you like the weirder eclectic stuff, that you already like that stuff, then yeah, you should definitely go see it in the theater because this will probably be up your alley. But if you're like, well, some of it yes, some of it no, I think you could probably either see it at a cheap matinee or rent it at home. Yeah. I know I'm going to end up renting it again and watching it again because it just made me want to know more, but preferably when I'm in a good mood.
Yeah, no, please don't watch this on the day you're depressed.
Yeah,
no, I would hate that for you.
But it's like Philip Seymour Hoffman in a depressing movie. What a shocker, really? Is there any depressing movie that they don't call him first for?
I know, man, that guy does depressing like nobody's business.
Oh, yeah, he's the best actor in the world for stuff that makes you want to kill yourself.
In fact, I'm surprised he's still alive. I'm going to feel really bad if he actually kills himself one day for saying that.
You'd probably meet him in real life, and he'd be like Robin Williams or something.
Hey, man, what's up? You probably want him to kill himself because he's too fucking happy.
Exactly.
Jesus Christ, get the fuck away from me,
It's the
man.
only way we could get him to calm down.
You know what? I think we can agree on this movie more than I thought. I have to punch you in your stomach.